Darkness has descended upon the city, and the creatures of the night have begun to stir. This is the time when the veil between the realms of the living and the dead is the thinnest, and all that is not what it appears to be. Like a lone sentinel, one candle flickers in the night, revealing all that lurks in the darkness. This is Ghost Chronicles, Book of Shadows. Welcome to the nightmare.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ghost Chronicles, Book of Shadows. I am that lone candle in the night. Ron Kolek, your host, the gatekeeper around the unknown, the unexplained, and the unbelievable, New England's own Van Helsing. With me, my co-host, the amazing, lovely West Coast witch, Marla Brooks.
It didn't sound very good.
Didn't? Wow.
Well, it was just,
Excuse me.
There wasn't like energy going through.
There wasn't a lot of things. Well, this is Book of Shadows. It's very subdued.
That's true.
You know, I don't swear in this episode.
Well, you can if you'd like.
I don't want to, cast any aspersion upon witches. So there you go.
Or spells.
Yes. So as usual, when Marla is co-host, which makes it nice for me, actually, she has booked our guest tonight. And this is a person that I've seen like a million times on Facebook and then social media. And, the show's been on for over 20 years, and I still don't understand why I haven't had him on the show, but he has definitely been out there for as long as I can remember. So I will let you introduce the man, the legend, the myth.
Yes, Bruce Tango. He's all of those things, and plus a few other things, but we don't talk about that. And, he does a lot of good things. He's para person. He's on Ghost Hunters ever so often. His son is Dave Tango, so everybody knows Dave. And, but you have, Bruce, you have your own little thing going behind the curtain that some people might know about and some people might not know about, is something that happened to you when you were a child, and you named it the Stirring Man. So, hi, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Ron, I want you to know I listen in every once in a while when I can. I enjoy the show, and not to differ with you, Mark, but I thought Ron did a nice intro on you, to be honest. So I'm not sucking up to anybody, but I thought it was a nice intro. But thank you for the words.
Bruce, no one ever says nice words about me. That's you're ruining my reputation.
Oh, well, it's okay. I listen to you. I even say, I asked Mars, says, what kind of gentleman is he? And he said he's a nice guy. I said, sometimes he sounds a little harsh, but that doesn't mean anything, But I've listened to you more and more, and from talking to more, and there's been a few times where after listening to the show, I would call Marla up, and I said, you know what, he's a pretty nice guy, and so my first thought, and
this guy doesn't know me.
Well, one of my things is I pride myself on knowing people, and I made up my mind about you, so there's not much you can do other than put hands on me to make me change my mind that you're a pretty decent guy. So you're going to have to live with that, Ron.
I'm so used to being called an asshole, so it's unusual. But who am I to argue with the universe? So there you go. Anyway, Bruce, you were before we get into your childhood experiences, you were a police officer in your former life, correct?
Yes, I was a police officer. I was the youngest guy to ever go on my department. I don't know if you ever heard of Elizabeth, New Jersey. It's one of the bigger cities in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like 18, 19 when I came on the department. That was in 74. Actually, just before that, they had what afforded me that right to come on the department at 18 was the fact that they had changed the drinking laws back then, which I think was a mistake. You could start drinking at 18. Not that I was a big drinker, right. But in retrospect, I think that was a mistake. But because of that law change, they lowered the age limit, and I wind up taking the test almost right out of high school, and I became a cop at 18 and did a little over 25 years on the job, and honest, and looking back, Ron and Marla, I actually think 18 is a little bit too young, because I actually grew up. I was thrown into the fire, if you will. I mean, I grew up right on, on the job. So, yeah. And I think it's not a good idea to put someone that young on a department, because the things you see and experience sometimes you're just not ready for.
But don't you think, too, on the other hand, and I agree with you. I mean, it's a tough world. I have a nephew that's a detective, and I have other friends that were police officers throughout my life. And in a way, I understand that. But in another way, too, it doesn't it also show that other young people, they see you there as a young police officer doing good, and versus, going down another road. And it's kind of, a role model for them in a way.
Oh, yeah, I understand your point. Yes, but I think even just a couple of years, I mean, 21, if I had the choice, it would be 21. I think those few years makes a difference. But yes, you do show, these, the young people that if you work hard, and you want something bad enough. And I wanted this very badly. And I achieved it. Like I said, I was either 18 or 19 when I got sworn in, and it was quite a ride.
Mm. Now, did you come from a law enforcement family, or why did you go pick that road?
No, not really. Most of my family were on the other side.
Okay, no problem.
No, not really. But no, they were law abiding. But my father came from a family of 18, believe it or not.
Wow.
18, imagine that. That's crazy. I mean, a lot of Italian. I'm half Italian, half Irish. Mm-hmm. Every Friday night, I want to go out and shoot somebody, but I'm too drunk to do it. So, yeah, I forgot where we were going.
No, yes. I was just curious about why you became a policeman. That's all.
Well, growing up, I was around a lot of police officers. I played PAL baseball and football, and I just, and I don't know if it helped, but around that time in the 70s, you had a lot of police shows on. If you remember Adam 12 and all that other stuff. Dragnet and all them shows, and that probably influenced me somehow. But like I said, in the PAL, I hung out at the PAL a lot, got to know a lot of the police officers, and they were all very kind men. And I decided that's what I wanted to do with my life. So,
good for you. I give you credit. I mean, it was. At least back then, you had a lot more respect than, unfortunately, a lot of police officers nowadays do. So, at least you have that.
Ron, it's changed a lot, pal. It really has. It is. When I came on, I had to get used to being called the big thing back then was a pig.
Yeah.
They used the word pig a lot. And it bothered me to no end, and it sort of got me in trouble. But other than that, in fact, I went out and I bought a pin that I used to wear on my chest near my badge, and it was the shape of a pig, but it said pride, integrity, and guts. And I think I still have that. But I did have a cousin that was a police officer, and my grandfather was in law enforcement. It's down south. He was more or less in, they called the stockade. But that was but they really didn't influence me in any way. My grandfather was so proud of me when I became a police officer.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, he and I were very, very close. He was very influential in my life. I spent a lot of time with him, and I loved him to death. And everybody in the family knew that I was a favorite. Nobody had a problem with it, because we did spend a lot of time together. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was a pretty difficult career. I got sent to the hospital quite a few times.
Ouch.
Yeah, I think I was sent to the hospital about 15 times. I was given my last rites in 1977.
Oh, God bless you.
And but I've had a lot of close calls in my career. Got banged up, a lot of scars, Ron. A lot of scars.
I don't doubt it. 25 years of
14 orthopedic operations in my lifetime.
Holy crap! Ouch.
I got metal holding me together.
So how did you get interested in the paranormal? Did you have an experience when you were younger, or was it something later in life?
Well, it started when I was young, and then unfortunately my first encounter with the paranormal was a frightening one. That's where this film, The Staring Man, came. Mm-hmm. When I was I was about 5 years old, and you're talking about 1959, 1960-ish, and I had a visit. Let's just call him the Staring Man, because that's actually all he did. He never touched me or talked to me. But he showed up about 3 times during the course of a year, which was very frightening. And I started, now before I tell you this point, I want you to know that I started telling the story before this movie came out. And that movie was Insidious. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, my guy was very similar looking to that entity, he it was frightening. The first time we were living in an apartment, actually it was projects, just to go to show you that these hauntings or incidents can happen anywhere. I had my own room. My sister had her own room, and my mom and dad slept on a sofa couch.
Oh, wow.
And they were big back then. I guess they may still be, but yeah, they were big back then. And then, excuse me, one evening in the middle of the night, I woke up and there was somebody standing in the corner of my bedroom. And as I was trying to focus my eyes, he walked up to the side, to the foot of my bed. And his head sort of tilted, and he just stared at me, Ron. Honest to God, didn't touch me, just looked at me with a smirk on his face and just stared at me. And the frightening thing of it is, and believe me, this sounds goofy or whatever, but his face was red. You know, like I said, he didn't touch me, didn't say anything, but his face was red. I'm being totally honest.
So when you say red, wait, when you say red, was it just like a normal, like you would see red in there, or was it more a glowing red?
It was. Well, I knew it was red. It was like a crimson red, if you will. Okay. And like I said, it was dark. I did have some light coming from the hallway. And that's always because my mom and dad left the bathroom light on all the time. It was sort of used as a night light. Right. I did that for my children, and I still do it as out of habit. But, I covered my head, and I started crying, and I think I probably said, go away or anything or something like that. But I covered and I started praying. I was brought up a Catholic. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I went to Catholic school. I don't know if I was going to school at that time or not. If I was, it was like, like first grade or something. I don't know. But after a while, I got enough of nerve and I peeked over my covers and he was gone. And that's about the extent of it. Nothing big except something very scary was in my room. And believe it or not, I'm telling you that it wasn't a dream. It was real. Absolutely real to me. So to take the story a little further, I don't know how many months later, same thing in the middle of the night, got another visit from the same guy. Again, he walked to the foot of my bed, looked at me with his head tilted, and he had that smirk. It was like the cat that ate the canary type thing. He had that smirk on his face. Very, very scary looking, obviously, especially to a 5-year-old. And again, I cowered. I either went under the covers or went under the bed. I don't remember, but I cowered. And again, after some time, I got the nerve up and it went away. Now, before I go to the third thing, I want to explain, because people, and I don't blame them, I would do the same thing, would say, why didn't I yell for my parents, my father, or my mother? Well, it's explained in the documentary and in the film. And I feared my father more than I did that entity.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
It's a shame, but it's the God's honest truth. I feared my father. And I never told anybody except my grandfather, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But that's why I didn't yell out to anyone, all right? Because it would have been a mess, which I don't want to get into. He probably would have wound up punishing me for something. I don't know what, watching a movie or something. This had nothing to do with any movie that I seen, So again, that was the second visit. And sometime after, the third visit was a little bit different.
Okay.
I woke up and he was already standing at the foot of my bed. All right. Again, I got scared. I didn't say nothing. But this time, I got up and I went into the hallway and walked down the hall to the bathroom and closed the door. I sat on the toilet. I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I sat on the toilet. And I waited for quite a long time. maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I was praying, believe it or not, just to show you where my head was at, that my father wouldn't get up. I didn't want him seeing me in there, just sitting there. But anyway, I got the nerve. I walked back down to down the hallway, and I had to turn left. And when I turned left, that entity, or the thing that I call the staring man, was still there, standing at the foot of my bed, gesturing with his hand for me to come into the room, which I did not do. I went right back to the bathroom, sat on the toilet, and eventually, I was crying. I cried myself to sleep. Eventually fell asleep until early in the morning, where my father got up to go to work. And he opened the door and saw me sitting there, obviously not going to the bathroom, and he started yelling and questioning me, "Why are you sitting here? Why are you this and that?" And I said, I didn't know. And he just yelled at me. He says, "Go back to bed." So that was the three things, the three visits that I got. And that last time was the last time that I ever seen that entity. I think it was 3 years later, we moved to another place in Elizabeth. And again, that entity didn't show up. But to give you a little background, and I know you'll understand, that during this period, nothing good was happening with the family. Nothing with me, nothing with my mom and dad. My dad was quite abusive with my mom and me and everybody else. My dad was a tough, hard individual. Mm-hmm. He did not try to get explanations. He just reacted normally in a violent way. Took a lot of lumps from my old man. So
was he the Italian or the Irishman?
He was the Italian.
Okay.
He was the Italian. My mom held her own, but my mom didn't deserve a lot that happened to her. She protected me quite a bit, and I love her, I loved her. I love my father too, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. I did make amends with him. Later in the year, I was a police officer, and I hadn't talked to my father in years. And I come home, my wife at the time told me, she asked me, says, "How are you with this forgive and forget stuff?" I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" And she had told me that my dad was very sick, and he was living in a room in the YMCA.
Oh, gosh.
And in total honesty, as bad as he was, it sort of broke my heart. He was still my dad. So what I did is I contacted my pastor, who was a good friend of mine. I had become a Presbyterian once I got married. Oh. And he had known some of the stories, and I says, "I'd like you to come with me." And I told him, I said, "I don't know how he's going to react or what. I don't know what he's going to do." I said, "Don't worry, I won't let him do anything to you. I just want you there, so you can see." But in all honesty, when I showed up, everything turned out really well. And I said to him, I said, "Do you want me here?" Because I hadn't gotten a call or a visit, and he had a couple grandchildren, never wanted. And I said to him, "Do you want me here?" And he turned to me and he said, "Bruce, you're my son." Oh. And I could have took it further than that. I could have went to the nasty side of me and say, "Well, if I'm your son, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?" But it wasn't the right time. He was not doing well. He was sick. And I says, well, I'm here. And it was a nice visit. Long story short, when I got him out of the YMCA room, and he came to live with me, my wife, and my two boys. And it wasn't too much longer that he survived, and he had to go back in the hospital, and he died in the hospital. But what I'm saying is, I did make amends with him. But what I was alluding to before, and I'm pretty sure you got it, is that either that entity was causing all them bad things to happen in my house, in the household, or the bad things that would happen were drawing him. I don't know the answer to that, but I think it was one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, we are coming up on the break right now, Bruce. So we'll continue when we come back. And Marla's been so quiet. I think she passed away while we were talking.
She probably is sleeping.
Not sure.
I'm being very polite.
Too polite. Not used to it.
Scaring, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't like that.
I like to catch you off guard sometimes.
Yeah. As usual. Anyways, we do have to take a break. You've been listening to. Bruce, by the way, is there is there a way people can get in touch with you if they want?
Well, they could get my Facebook is they could just or they could go to my website brucetango.com, or just go to my Facebook page.
There you go. So there you go. Anyways, you've been listening to Ghost Chronicles Book of Shadows with Marla Brooks and Ron Kolek right here on TogiNet, and we're all good podcasts, Go to Die. And we're brought to you by Circles of Wisdom, 286 Merrimack Street, Methuen, Massachusetts, the Gallant Messier Family Law Group, 15 High Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, and our very good friends on Ghost Chronicles Radio on Patreon. Become a member and help support the show because we need it. Why not? Anyway, we'll be right back after the following messages.
Do you have a paranormal event, book, or something else you want people to know about? Then why not advertise it on Ghost Chronicles Radio? With over 150,000 downloads a month, get your message out to an audience that's interested in the subject. We have a plan at a cost that fits your needs. For more information, contact Ron Kolek at anyghostproject@comcast.net or call 978-455-6678.
Located in Illinois, there lies a sleepy little town where nothing is a common occurrence.
You going to that party in town tonight?
Heck yeah! I only turned 18 once.
That is until the night of celebration.
Where the hell is she? Oh no. No, Jessica!
What's happening?
From the creators of Shadowhunters, Bite Me, comes a tale of primal terror and grindcore mayhem. Shadowhunters, kill, Jessica, kill!
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Harry Price. I am speaking to you via the medium of the Ghost Box. Many of you will know I carried out the first live radio broadcast from Haunted House way back in 1936 for the BBC. Now, thanks to the wonders of modern technology, I am still able to keep abreast of 21st century ghost hunting by listening to Ghost Chronicles International on TogiNet, ParaX Radio, the Ghost Channel, and even on something called a podcast. Two splendid chaps host it. One is an American who calls himself New England's own Van Helsing, although I have discovered his real name is Ron Kolek. The other is Stephen Parsons, and he's a paranormal scientist. Well, mustache, I'm required elsewhere on something called a K2. But don't forget, I'll be listening in every Tuesday from 8 o'clock in Great Britain and 3 o'clock on the American Eastern Seaboard. I trust you will join me there.
And we are back. Welcome to Ghost Chronicles, Book of Shadows. I am Ron Kolek, and you are not. With me is my lovely co-host, the amazing, exciting, terrific Marla Brooks, and our special guest, Bruce Tango. So before the break, you were, no comments, Marla. You are quiet tonight.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
I like to listen. Anyways, Bruce, before the break, you were talking about your story and how you made amends with your father and so forth, and this business with the Stirring Man, which I understand you have a DVD out on this episode as well.
Yes, I had been telling the story for years, and this young man does a great job. Brett McGinnis, he contacted me. He says, "Bruce, we have to get this, on a DVD." And I said, "I have to think about this because, as you see it, it's pretty personal,
Yeah.
It had to do with my, father and everything, but." He talked me into it. We had a big premiere. Over 500 people showed up at the premiere. A lot of people in the paranormal world, and I do have a few copies left. And like I said, I'll be happy to send you one. But we did make it. We made a copy, and I think it's pretty good. Not because it involves me, but I think it was really well done. It does have a friend of mine from the New Jersey State Police who did a drawing. I'm actually in the police department, and I explained to him, what the Stirring Man looked like. And I tell you, he was spot on. You will see exactly the entity that I saw.
Wow.
And I still keep in touch with him. He's great. He worked on cases. I don't know if you ever heard about in Westfield, New Jersey, the guy that waited for his family to come home. The List murders. I don't know if you know about that.
Oh, I think vaguely, Bruce. I don't know that you remember.
Yeah, List. He came. His kids came home from school. He killed them one by one.
Yeah.
Killed his mother-in-law, then killed his wife. Then he disappeared for years. And my friend, he did a progressive drawing of what he would look like during this time. And man, it was like looking in the mirror. It was the same as the drawing. He does a great job. But what I'm saying is, when you see the picture of the entity in the film, is the exact thing that I saw as a little boy.
Bruce, I'm going to ask something.
You want to speak, Bill?
Yes, I can.
Did you raise your hand? I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
I'll put me in the closet.
I think it's too late, Marla. I don't know.
It probably is.
Go ahead, Marla.
But, you talked about your granddad a lot. I mean, I know you've talked about him, and he was kind of your ally, in a sense. But I don't remember, did you tell him about the staring man or not?
Actually, yes, I forgot to tell you that part. The only person that I ever told about this incident, only guy I trusted, I didn't want to tell my mom, my sister, or anybody, because I was afraid it would get back to my father. And you got to trust me, all hell would have broke loose. But I did one day approach my grandfather, and I told him what was happening. And I sort of am a little sorry about that, because I knew it upset him. Here's you being a grandfather, which I am now, and here's your grandson telling you this crazy story of this evil-looking entity, and there's nothing you could do. He didn't know what to do. He just said to me, being a religious man that he was, he would call me Butch. He said, Butch, just pray a lot, say your prayers at night, and God will protect you. And because he also said, you sure you weren't dreaming? And I said, no, Gramps, this was real. And like I said, I'm sort of sorry I ever told him, because I knew he worried about me a lot. And I could understand that, because I would worry about my grandchild too, telling me that story. But there was a lot of things. Also, another part that I forgot, I used to, every once in a while, I go by that closet in the hallway that goes, it's on the left as I go towards the bathroom, and I used to hear what I thought was somebody whispering my name.
Oh.
I a lot of times would not peek in. Sometimes I would, and nobody would be there. And the other cool thing is, when I was making this film, my oldest sister, the one that was living, I have 3 sisters. The one that was living at the time, she had heard I was making this film and what it was about, and she contacted me, and she told me a story that she had experiences during that time too, and she didn't want to say anything to anybody, so that's included too. She had seen some strange things, somebody by the doorway. She actually seen a pair of shoes that would move on their own, and she would see some guy go past the room and voices, and it was all around the same time. But she told me, she says, I never wanted to say anything to anybody either. So it was just strange. So we wind up getting another guy, and she did her segment and told what happened. Then again, she didn't want to say nothing, because when people tell these stories, you either believe them or they think you're a little nuts, or trying to take advantage some way or somehow. But
so, do you think the closet was a portal?
Mara, it could be. It could be. But like I said, I can't refer to what I was talking to you guys about the closet, but it was never there. Every time that I seen him, he either originated from the corner, the left corner of my room, or the last time when I woke up, he was already at the foot of my bed, staring at me. So it could be though, more. I don't know.
But
that's
yeah.
Go ahead.
It's really weird, because I had when I was younger, I had a similar incident, except it wasn't real like it was. It was a reoccurring dream all the time, and we had a bedroom at the end of the corridor where there were bedrooms and bathrooms off, and the living room was there, and I would see this figure standing in the closet, and I would run try to run out of the bedroom because the closet was right next to the door. And as I headed for the door, this figure, which, by the way, was very closely resembles, I'm waiting to see that picture that you talked about, because very resembled that figure. I always call them the devil figure.
Yeah.
But I would be pulled, and then I would see, like, my parents' father actually walk across the living room, and I would try to scream, but I couldn't speak out. And I had that dream over and over again, always in the closet, being pulled into the closet. And eventually I told that dream, and then it never happened again. But
was the dream identical, or did it differ a little?
Identical. Always identical. Yeah. Always. It never buried. Like yours buried. Yours was real. Mine was a dream. I understand it was a dream, but it was always frightening when it happened. And you know, I always regretted, feared it coming up, but until I told someone. Once I told someone, it disappeared and it never happened again. But it was always intriguing, especially the thing that part of intrigued me is the description that you gave was very similar to the devil. I used to call him the devil that drew me into the closet.
Right. Right.
Intriguing stuff.
Yeah. You know, I've had, before I forget, an important part of the film, it's been a while since I've talked about it, and what's cool about the film is I actually had the opportunity to go back into that apartment and do an EVP session with the guy that helped me direct this film.
Interesting.
It was 50-something years. I was around 50 years since I'd been in there.
Wow.
This whole area has changed very, very much. I actually had to pay these people. I didn't tell them exactly what was going on. But these people were, let's put it this way, on the other side of the law, involving drugs. But I wanted to go back there in a worse way to see what happened. Mm-hmm. And I had that opportunity, and I am not going to ruin it. But I will tell you something did happen.
Oh, wow.
All right. It's not earth shaking, I'll be totally honest with you, but something did happen, and you will hear it. If you ever see the film, which you will, because like I said, I'm going to send you a copy. Oh, okay. But it was cool. But if I was trying to get over on people, it would have been a lot bigger, than what happened. But this was big enough for me. And before you see it, Ron, I'm not saying that it was the staring man, but there was something there that did say something. So you take it from, take from it what you will, but it was cool just to go back in there. It was my
experience, I would imagine. Yeah.
My oldest son, who is also a police officer, and he's sort of little, not meaning to, but my son John, who David's brother, he is really not into this paranormal stuff. He says, "Dad, I don't mess, with the dead." He just, I don't like messing with it. But he did it for me. He was there for me. He had my back, which I appreciated. Yeah. And there's a part in there where he says something, and you can't help but laugh. It's pretty good comic relief segment, but he was frightened. You could see it in his eyes, and when he found out that we did get a piece of evidence, it blew his mind big time.
Wow.
So Yeah.
You know what's interesting though? You can have such a great story, but unless it's done properly, then it loses a lot in translation. So I hope this came out really well for you, Bruce.
I think it did, and I want you to. I know the type of person you are. I know you're going to give me your honest opinion about it. So, and I wouldn't want anything other. So when you see it, you get a hold of me. Let me know what you think.
Certainly would.
I appreciate that.
So we are actually running out of time here. I don't know if we should even attempt to try something else, but I would like to know is so you had this experience, but why did you got involved in the paranormal after that?
Well, that more or less, piqued my interest. Mm-hmm. And as I got older, we didn't have computers and everything, obviously back then. But all I did is read about hauntings and spooky stuff. That's what piqued my interest. If I was reading the book, it had to do with hauntings, Rod Serling, anything along those lines. That's what I did. And the thing, I'm not a tech person by no means. Marla knows that. Everybody around me knows that I'm not a tech person. I don't mind learning, but I can't find too many people that have the patience. That has the patience of telling me or showing me. But I do what I enjoy doing the most is EVP sessions, and Marla could tell you. Anybody that's been to any event I've ever been where I ran an EVP session, and I got to be thousands. And Ron, honest to God, I always get something. People say I'm like a ghost magnet. For some reason, they like talking with me. They like to reach out to me.
Are you respectful, Bruce?
Yeah. I'm very respectful.
Yeah.
If you're not respectful.
I noticed that most of the good people that get EVPs are very respectful when they do the sessions, and I think that has a lot to do with people like Mark Nesbitt from Gettysburg does a great job with us, able to do it.
Oh yeah. You have to be respectful. Don't get me wrong. If I was doing an EVP session and I had some nasty spirit talking to me, I'd step up and be a little nasty too. Yeah. And I believe in showing respect, being kind and loving. I think there might be times where you might be disrespectful just to get a rise out of me. Depends on the situation and the problem. But 9/10 of the time, you just be kind and you'll get great results. And I actually don't know why I get the results that I get. I could do it a half hour and get 7-8 responses that are unbelievable. I've been asked out on a date by a spirit, that's the truth. I joke with everybody. I says things are a little slow for me right now. I says, but I'm already set up for when I kick the bucket, So, but that's actually
the other side.
That's actually the truth. It's a true story. Yeah.
The name.
Go ahead.
I think one of these days you should come back and you guys talk about, all three of us, except I never get any EVPs. But it's a good topic to talk about, I think.
It's one I have problems with. So whatever. I don't want to go into the whole situation.
Yeah, I would like to know what your problems are.
I know you were going to say that.
No. I mean, personally, I like to know. Because Ronnie, in all honesty, I don't know why I get such great results. And maybe you came up with something. Maybe it is respect.
No, I mean,
maybe it's the fact that I've come close to death several times. I don't know.
That's the thing, Bruce, is we explore an area that is really unexplorable is the way I look at it. It's so everything that we hear, see, and and feel is filtered through ourselves, and so
Right.
we read all this evidence, as like people call it, and it's I don't know. So with some, I don't. Like I said, I can keep
nothing is etched in stone, Ron. We both could go into an investigation two different ways and still get great results. You may not, I may, and you just don't know why. Exactly. And I always say, and I don't pretend to know, much, but one thing that I feel is I know these things happen. I know these incidents happen. But I don't know if we're meant, and I don't know the answers, and I don't know if we're meant to find the answers.
See, that's the interesting part. I kind of agree with you on that. It's and we a lot of people challenge people and everything, which is good because you always want to be challenged. But these are so much of a personal experience that you really. That's what they believe, and they honestly believe that. They're not like making it up. Like you could put a medium into two mediums in the same row, and one will say, "Oh, I see a little boy playing with a ball in the corner," and the other one will say, "Well, I see an old lady on the rocking chair." Is one right and one wrong, or are they both right, or are they both wrong? We don't know. But that's what they believe.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. You just don't know. It's an amazing field, and I enjoy. I'm like a kid in a candy store, and my son David, I go to him for. There was a time he would come to me because I would tell him about these stories and what happened here, what happened there. Now the time has come where I go to him a lot, especially for tech things. My son is pretty cool dude. Both of my boys are cool dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good fatherly love. I love it. But, Bruce, I know we are coming down towards the end of the show. So is there anything else you want to touch on before we do end it?
No, not really. I enjoyed being on the show. Like I said, I've listened to your show quite a few times over the years. I will continue. And no matter what anybody says, especially Marla, I think you're a decent guy.
Oh my God!
Jeez, I don't know. These headphones are getting pretty tight on me now.
No kidding. Jeez. No,
Marla's a sweetheart too. I tell her, I says, Marla, you're my best friend that I've never met. I've never met. I hope one day that I could get over to the West Coast and meet Marla. That would be a great day. But Marla's a sweetheart, and she's the closest friend that I have that I've never met.
Aww.
There you go. And I'm a witch, and that. Oh, see.
Yeah. So
I learned a lot.
Yeah, I did.
Put a spell on Bruce, so that's what it was.
But people, just because Bruce isn't going to say it, I will probably. He's got some events coming up, and they're happening over on the East Coast. But if anybody goes to brucetango.com, just check and see what.
We have a couple minutes here. You can mention that you would like. This is good.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. In August, I had a great idea, and I'm going to get a group of people together. We're going to have some dinner, play some games, but we're going to gather around the old vintage radio, and I'm going to play some of the best vintage ghost stories and suspense stories of yesteryear, back in the 30s, 40s. And I thought it might be a nice change. And we're going to sit around, have the popcorn, and I'm in the midst of trying to find 3 really good stories that the people that attend will be able to listen to. But we're going to have a lot going on, but that's the main thing. We're going to gather like they did back with our grandparents and great grandparents did. And I think that's cool, something different. And then I'm going to have Chris DeCesare coming up from New York, where he's going to talk about his haunting incidents where he was going to college back in 1985. Cool. So it's going to be, two nice events. And like Marla said, just go to brucetango.com and you'll find everything there.
Excellent. And, do you still investigate, or have you pretty much gotten away from that?
Well, I haven't done one in a while, but I still get called by people for help. If for help that they're having a problem, I pick and choose. I usually, if it involves children, I'll usually try to make an effort to get there, especially if a child is being hurt in any way, shape, or form, or I'll direct them to somebody. But I've done that, but not, in all honesty, not as much as I used to, Ron. I still enjoy doing it, and people ask me questions all the time, and I'm very honest. Some people can't deal with honesty though, but but I still am willing to get out there and do my thing.
And every so often you get over to ghost hunters, so Papa Tango, and that's what they call him. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they got you in there because of your police work and the way, I don't know what the first time they ever brought you in, but it was because you were a policeman and you could see things in, a critical way.
Yes, I have a habit. It served me well when I was a police officer. This is not bragging at all, but I have a way of figuring things out, and I usually am pretty good at it. And eventually I'll get to the bottom of things, but sometimes it takes time. It's and patience. My son David is the one who taught me patience. So, but
he didn't do quite a good job, because I know you get impatient.
Oh, sometimes I do. Yeah, I'm still now. I'm still human. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But David did help me along. Got to be patient sometimes. It's not a one-shot deal all the time. And all right, you're in there for 10 minutes. You didn't hear nothing. That doesn't mean anything, to be honest with you. So.
Right. So, anyways, we are running out of time on the show. So, Bruce, we want to thank you so much for joining us today, and it's been extremely interesting. We'll have to get you back again sometime and talk a little bit about some of the cases you worked on and some of the other stuff you did as well.
Sounds good.
If you're interested, yep.
Sounds good. It was a pleasure. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, well, you can thank Marla. She's the one that, it's like I said, I've seen your name out there 100 times, and they've been doing the show for over 20 years, and I have no idea why I've never had you on the show, but
no biggie.
Thank you that you joined us now. So
it was a pleasure.
Yeah. Anyways, you've been listening to Ghost Chronicles Book of Shadows with Marla Brooks and Ron Kolek right here on TogiNet. And we're brought to you by Circles of Wisdom, 286 Merrimack Street, Methuen, Massachusetts. The Gallant Messier Family Law Group, 15 High Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, and our good friends on Ghost Chronicles Radio and Patreon. Good night, everyone. God bless and stay safe.
From ghoulies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.